Okay, so on this episode, we definitely got a little bit more in detail about a lot of things. We definitely got a little bit more tea into who Michael Landon is, and everything. This was a more my kind of episode because I'm starting to understand it now, and also it's all about witches and magic and shit, and I love that child. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Okay. So it began with Miss Meat, I believe that's her name, with Kathy Bates, aka Kathy Bates, child, and she is actually she is feeding Michael Landon. Now, as we found out, the Michael Landon, basically the devil, he pretty much programmed Miss Meat to be kind of the motherly figure. She didn't birth him, I don't think, but somehow or another they got together. They show that she was, in the house with him. They was eating something, and she basically is, a devil's mama, devil worshiper, etc. They're sitting there praying to the devil and Lucifer and stuff. I was just like, what in the hell is going on? But they was just dead serious. It was like, Lord. So, they did their whole thing, and let's see. The next scene that we pooch to is we see my boy, the one and only, Billy Porter. We see Billy Porter, and Billy Porter is one of the main warlocks in this facility. It actually cut to 3 years before the whole big apocalypse. Before the whole big explosion. And he is one of the leaders in this warlock cult situation. Now, the warlocks, apparently, which is a male witch, they have been summoned to kind of like off in the middle of nowhere because the other witches, well, they were summoned because, regular folk, warlocks and witches, they felt uncomfortable around them, and plus the witches, the females, they did not want them around. I guess it was like a challenge thing. There's definitely this battle between the male witches and female witches, but apparently, according to history, nobody has been more powerful than the female witches. Okay, so anyway, so Billy Porter, he, ends up talking to this one little boy. He came down the steps, he is negligent and, just bad as hell and never prepared. He was just like, you forgot your book, everything. He throwed the book, with magic and, hit him in the face. It was like, Lord, Billy Porter. So anyway, after that, all the main leaders in this little, boys facility, trying to get them to, work on their powers more, just like the coven, with the leaders or whatever, but it's the male version. Anyway, we meet this guy named Ariel, I believe, and he's one of the, top warlocks or whatever, and he sends them information on this new quote-unquote warlock. So he shows them a video of this police officer and this boy. When they do the whole interrogation thing, he's basically interrogating him and making him feel like crap, because of some crime that he committed. All of a sudden, we see him off in the corner. He crying and hollering, and we see the man gets pushed up against the wall. Then his ass on the ceiling. Then his arms and legs start breaking. Then he dropped down to the floor, and his head just exploded that damn quick. I say, Father God, I don't know what was going on, but it scared the crap out of me. I was like, Lord, it was just like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. Now, there's one guy, one of the leaders in the warlock facility. He got some sense. He was just like, this shit that we do, it's nothing compared to this clown. I don't know who this is, but this is a demonic spirit, and I'm not here for it. He was trying to tell them what's tea and what's going on. They didn't want to hear it, child. It was just like, no, we're going to invite him here. We feel like he's a warlock. Now the little boy in question is Michael Landon, the devil, who's grown now, but this was 3 years ago, etc. So Ariel, one of the head warlocks, he goes to see Landon, and he's in the jail cell. He was just like, whew. He was just like, look, I'm a warlock, okay, and I came to save you because I think that you're a warlock too. It was just like, yeah, I understand what happened. I know what happened. I know you just got upset, etc. So he ends up landing out the jail cell, unlocking the key, end up walking out. But before they walked out, a police officer came up, was just like, wait a minute, you're supposed to talk to him. What are you doing? You can't leave with him. The aerial guy pushed him up against the wall. He's stiff. He can't move. And he was just like, oh, because they're good. All the warlocks, they're good people. They're not into, dark magic or whatever. They just seek out kids who have this ability, etc. But they're not bad or anything. So he was just like, once we leave, he'll be fine. Ain't nothing wrong with him. But as they was walking out, Landon ended up moving his hand like this. And they ended up snapping the dude's neck. They don't know that Landon is the devil. He just killed people for no reason, just left and right. And he actually killed, the reason why he ended up in jail in the first place was because he ended up killing the butcher. So Kathy Bates, playing his mama, Miss Meat or whatever, she was at the butcher, and she wanted a goat's head for some kind of sacrifice, religious devil mess, and the guy was just like, I'm not giving you no goat's head for some insane shit. I'm just not gonna do it. I can give you the meat of the goat, but I'm not giving you no goat's head for no crazy shit, lady. Gone somewhere. So she ends up walking on because she was just like, I'm just gonna see your manager. It's how white people do. I'm gonna go talk to the manager. So then Landon comes up as she walks off and was just like, don't you ever talk to her like that. The guy was just like, fuck you and her. How about that? End up turning around. Landon did something with his eyes, child. He balled up his fist and he released it. And about 6 knives landed inside that man that quick. I was like, Lord, have mercy, Jesus. Killed him that quick. So he arrived. He ended up arriving at the facility. Landon, and everybody's opening him with open arms, except for this one man, this one white guy. He was just like, yeah, I'm not feeling you. He could tell it's something with Landon. So what Landon has to do, they've been noticing that he's been progressing rather quickly in the facility. So what Landon has to do is he has to pass all these tests, similar to the witches, with the 7 wonders test. They have their own set of tests, the warlocks, to prove if he's the strongest, warlock. Of course, he excels at all the tests, except for the last test. The last test was, you have to make it snow in here. You have to make it cold. Now he did it, but he made it fall, and it was beautiful and nice. But then shit started to get weird, and he started to turn into a blizzard. He almost killed everybody, and they got nervous. He was just like, oh my gosh, I can't control it. He can control it. He knows what he's doing. It's just his plan is just to take over the world by now. So anyway, so he did that, and one of the witches, stopped this spell. Can we just take a side note and give big ups to Ryan Murphy, because I believe that all the leaders in the Warlock coven, all the leaders in the Warlock coven are queens. Yes! All of them are queens. Come on, Fat. Yes! Everybody got that little talking to me. Look, A. Marine, all Fat. But anyway, yeah, I was just like, yes. So anyway, that just really excited me. So they did, that, and It was just crazy. It was just like, yeah, he's too strong. We're going to have to call on the witches. So we put you on over to the coven, child. Now, mind you, this was 3 years ago. You know, the world was still fine, etc. Cordelia, you know, has been the supreme for a while. We have, I forgot her name. Little white girl, straight hair, bone straight hair. She was one of the ones that lived. She also played in The Nun, recent movie, you know. I forgot her name. Anyway, I forgot her name on the show. But anyway, she's dope, you know. She's there, she's teaching a class of you know, it's a whole set of new witches is coming in. She was just like, hey, you need to watch this one new witch. And we look and see, and that new witch is Mallory. Mind you, one thing I did forget to talk about was also at the very beginning, you know, it was still in the time that, you know, that was set, you know, the apocalypse that happened, etc. You know, they were in the post 3, I believe. You know, they was in the facility, the few that survived, the few that played there, and the few that, you know, got rescued, etc. You know, they all died. The witches came. Cordelia, Madison, and Aunt Myrtle. They came, and, you know, all rise. They ended up waking up Mallory and the black lady and Coco Chanel. Old evil heifer. They ended up waking them up. Now the sister girl, the black lady, Dina Porter, Billy Porter's sister, she ain't with the shit. She was just, because Cordelia was just like, look, I brought y'all back to life for a reason. You know, I wanted to protect y'all from y'all powers, so that is why I did not. She kind of blocked their memory out. She wanted to protect them, you know, because if the devil, Landon, if he knew of their powers, of course, you know, he would have tried to take them out first. But, you know, she hid them from herself, and Mallory was just like, what are you doing? Why would you do that? She was just like, just to protect you, so I get it. But she needs all of the witches' help to try to defeat Landon and Miss Meat. But Sister Girl ain't with it. She was just like, I ain't with the shits. I ain't got time. I'm tired and through. Okay, so let's cut back to the whole 3 years ago thing. Okay, so like I said, Mallory, she's there, and, you know, a set of new witches, and what their task is for them to basically you know, change the roles. Each one of them had to write roles. Their talent was to change the roles to a different color. So I believe the majority of them was able to do it. And it was interesting with Mallory's rose, though, was that it turned a beautiful blue color, her rose. And then after that, the petals fell off. And Cordelia, because, you know, Sister Girl, the white lady, the white girl, she was telling Cordelia, hey, you know, this chick got plowed. This chick got power. She bad now. She bad. Cordelia was just like, oh, she's just an average witch. You know, whoop to whoop. She wasn't excited about it. Until she saw that the petals started to fall off. And as her petals fell off, they turned into butterflies. Flied around Cordelia. She held out her hand. And the butterfly dropped back down. And it became a white single rose again. I was just like, a petal. I was like, oh, she bad. And Cordelia was just like, yeah, she bad. But anyway, they ended up getting a phone call. It was just like, the warlocks want you to come. They want to have a meeting. So, I forget her name. I'll learn her name later. So the little white girl, Aunt Myrtle, and Cordelia, they ended up going to the warlock facility. They sat them down. It was just like, look, we want you to perform a 7 wonders test on somebody, on this young man, you know, because we feel like he could be even powerful than y'all. A female witch. And Cordelia was against that. She was just like, hell no. Ain't no way this man can be more powerful than a female witch. It has never been proven, and all this kind of stuff. She was strongly against it. And they brought up something in Cordelia's past. It was just like, yeah, because you've had a history of, you know, of knowing that you can't save everybody. they brought up the whole thing of her not being able to save Queenie. Y'all know Gabrielle Sidibe. Billy was just like, yeah, of course, you like all your peoples, but of course you let the little black girl go on and die somewhere. And Cordelia was just like, no, it wasn't like that. Queenie's soul was stuck at the Hotel Cortez, darling. And she tried to go back and save her and get her, but every single time she tried all kinds of magic, she could not leave. She would have Queenie up until a certain point, then Queenie would go somewhere, gas. And she was just like, she tried over and over, and that was her biggest failure, the fact that she could not save Queenie's soul. Because y'all know, her mama named, Cordelia's mama, Fiona, Jessica Lange, her soul was, in hell with Papa Legma them on the coven. So, yeah, it was, everybody had their own little, like, separate, things. So she, she started to get emotional about that. She was just like, and I also just don't want to risk this little boy's life. The Seven Wonders could kill somebody if it's not, if they're not, the top or whatever, the supreme. And she was just strongly against it. She was just like, conversation over, child. Meanwhile, though, the gag was Landon was up there scribbling stuff on the paper. He ended up drawing Hotel Cortez in his head. So it cut to a scene, Queenie, she just keep playing cards with this man, played by of course, in everything, Evan Peters. He ended up arriving at Hotel Cortez. It was just like, he was just like, look, you might want to go with him. Queenie was just like, what if I don't want to? He was like, yeah, you might want to go. Queenie ended up taking his hand, and he literally walked out with Queenie. He was just like, now wait a minute, I gotta go get somebody else. Now Madison, her hell, she was summoned to just being a regular customer service salesperson. Cashier girl. People talking to her like shit, giving her maggots. All kinds of stuff. We all know Madison was awful. They talking about she Lindsay Lohan, all kinds of shit. I was hollering. So her boss treats her like crap. Madison goes and she starts to fold towels, and then Landon comes up and she's like, who are you? And you don't belong here. He was like, I'm here to rescue you, little girl. She was like, no, well, what do I have to do if you rescue me? Do I have to blow you off? And he was like, no. And she was like, okay, well, can I still blow you off? And then Queenie came around the corner talking about, ooh, child, even in the afterlife, you still a whore. And Queenie and Madison Autumn was in the coven together. She ended up hugging Queenie. Queenie was just like, bitch, get off me, child. She was like, look, I tried to get him to come and get you, you cold-hearted bitch, and all this, saying that I don't know why I'm here, but he was convinced to come and get you, so hell, we here, child. Then let me see if I'm talking about anything. I don't think I missed anything. Okay, so then now mind you, he was able to get Madison and get Queenie. Cordelia, Aunt Myrtle, and Sister Girl, they was walking out the facility, out the Warlock facility. Then all of a sudden, walking up to the facility is Landon, Queenie, and Madison. Child, Cordelia dropped to the floor because she was not able to get Queenie out of the Hotel Cortez, and obviously she wasn't able to save Madison either. So the fact that this young boy was able to get them proves that he's even stronger than she is. Child, she dropped to the floor. Everybody came to rescue her. Queenie walked over there. Madison was bored, and then she finally walked over there. It's just gonna be crazy. But what's interesting to me, cut 3 years, cut in the present time is that as far as on the show, the apocalypse and everything that happened. And there's Aunt Myrtle and Madison that Cordelia have on her side. So at some point, does that mean that Queenie died? Or does that, and then that obviously means at some point Madison converted back over to the Coven with Cordelia. And she no longer rides with Landon. Something happened. But I guess they're going to explain that as the season go on. But yeah, it's getting good. I'm starting to get it and understand it. I'm excited about that. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be lit. Yeah, it's getting good. This is my kind of episode for real. Seriously, I wanted to say something else. What was it? I don't know. We'll see. But that obviously means Landon gonna kill everybody, all the warlocks then, at some point, right? Because 3 years after, and none of them are around. None of the male witches are around. Does it, or did the female witches kill the warlocks? I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. A lot of questions, Dolly, but certain things was answered, so that's good. At least they told Landon's story, up until this point. So hey, with that said, I'm Mr. Chalaki. Mr. Chalaki on Google Plus. Follow me at ItsKingsWorld on Instagram and Twitter. At ItsKingsWorld89 on Snapchat. Chase King on Facebook. All the good stuff. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Bye.